It's no secret that Incarnon weapons are just amazing, but which ones are the best? Today we will be going over my top 5 favorite Incarnon Genesis primary weapons that are not only fun but overall the strongest. Remember that this is of course my opinion and I picked the best ones from my experience. If your favorite weapon is not in this video, be sure to comment it down below and tell me why you play it. A little disclaimer as well before we start: even though I think Fenmore is an incredible gun, it will not be in this list since we are not doing Zariman Incarnons but only Incarnon Genesis. On the number 5 we have Warframe Incarnon, a shotgun that has crazy single target damage that starts shooting a laser that chains to multiple targets. It absolutely deletes the base steel path and honestly kinda suffers from success when it comes to charging if you are not on the steel path, since a singular pellet will one-shot the enemies and give you barely any progress. Pretty versatile gun, you can build it for raw damage, status, even not activate Incarnon form if you really like playing a shotgun. The evolutions go as follows: Fortress Salvo for more base damage and Punch Through, Ready Retaliation for more reload speed from empty, the other ones are pretty meh. And the last evolution is pretty interesting. For the flat damage we want to go with base crit chance and crit damage increase. If you want to play a status version, you should pick either of the other options. They both give status chance with the difference that one of them gives crit as well. Well, for the secondary build we want the full status option. So we have some base damage, crit chance and crit damage, multi-shot fire rate, and we have corrosive since it's the best for flat damage guns. To top it all off, we have Galvanized Savvy giving us more status chance and base damage. For the arcane we have Shotgun Vendetta, giving us a crazy amount of multi-shot and reload speed if it deems necessary. If you don't have Vendetta, just swap it out for Primary Merciless and you have an open slot for a faction mod instead of point blank if you wish. Now Rivens. Oh, Rivens. I will not go in depth into Rivens, but I will leave a list from my Riven video. From here you can get a general idea of what are the good positives and what are the good negatives. From there it shouldn't be hard to figure out if your roll is good or not. And of course, if you do have green shards for maximum corrosive stacks, you will armor strip everyone in seconds and make this weapon even better. For the second build, all you have to do is change your status mods to 60-60 status mods and put on 60-60 heat mod instead of point blank, which was our base damage. Since we lost our base damage, if you were using Shotgun Vendetta, you want to go back to Primary Merciless. Now if we take a look at our status chance, it's not incredible, right? Well, let's just change the last evolution, shall we? Now we have over 400% status chance, so we will be proccing heat like crazy. On the number 4 we have Latron Prime Incarnon, the Trickshot King. It's definitely one of the most fun weapons to use in all of Warframe. Your bullets always ricochet, hence why I gave it the name, Trickshot King. It's very versatile and can be built in several ways. This weapon does massive damage and has pretty solid AoE, especially considering that it can hit enemies multiple times with the same bullet. For the evolutions we go for Riddle Target, giving us multi-shot whenever we proc Puncher, and this is really easy to do on the Latron. Marksman's Hand for less recoil if you don't like the zoomies, since this weapon basically zooms in like a sniper, you can go for minus zoom here. And the last evolution here is Critical Parallel, giving us more crit chance and crit damage. The armor removal from Puncture is also pretty good, but honestly, we have so many ways to armor strip enemies nowadays that I believe it fell off slightly since the release. And I can see Deadhead being useful in base form builds, but honestly I'd rather explode the whole room instead of one enemy at a time, so the build is pretty straightforward. Keep in mind that Serration is actually a big damage loss compared to a faction mod, but again I use Amalgam Serration for the base steel path. Since you really don't need any more damage than shown here, sprint speed just helps a lot with making the movement around the map fluid. If you go for over like level 500, go for a faction mod. Multi-shot, crit chance and damage, Hunter Munition for the slash procs in our Incarnon form. Vigilante Armaments for extra multi-shot and crit. And lastly, we have Viral. For the arcane, we have the usual Primary Merciless. The number 3, we have Strun Prime Incarnon. Yet another shotgun. The base version is very similar to the boar, and again suffers from success where it can be hard to charge on the star chart. In the Incarnon form, it fires AoE projectiles that have solid range and ridiculous damage and status chance. The evolutions are as follows: Blazing Barrel for free multi-shot and base damage. Now if you want hit scan bullets, go for projectile speed, and if you want a little better base form, go for more reload speed. Also do remember that having more reload speed actually speeds up evolving your weapon into Incarnon form. And for the last evolution we have Elemental Balance, or should I say unbalance. Does this look balanced to you? So here we have a somewhat memer build. We have Blast and Corrosive. On top of that we have Shotgun Elementalist, which will increase the damage of Slash and Blast procs. You cannot really make Viral here, since you need Cold to make Blast. So the second best element here is Corrosive, which will also allow us to fully armor strip with the power of Green Shards. Lastly we have Primary Merciless for the base damage. And of course, if you wanna go all in with the Riven and frame buffs, your build could look something like this. We have a little bit less status chance, but we get plenty more multi-shot from the Riven and Primary Blight. Zariman build is just a regular weapon platformer with Nourish Subzoom. Also remember that Galvanized Savi doesn't work on Incarnon form, but it does give us plenty of status chance and make our normal form pretty sick.
Thanos Gun!
On the number 2 spot, we have the one and only Burston Prime Incarnon. Burston rose from the ashes, from an MR fodder to a level cap machine, shooting about 1 trillion bullets and proccing hit about 1 billion times per second, melting literally anything. It's no surprise they call it brrrr. Okay, I'm so sorry you had to endure that. It doesn't need any setup, no need for armor strip even. The weapon is just fantastic. I even know some people who were just about to quit Warframe, then they got their hands on the Burston Prime, they didn't quit. Until tomorrow. Well then, shall we check the evolutions? These are finally pretty simple and there is only one real option. Evolution 2, you want to go for base damage and punch through. Evolution 3, you want to go for minus weapon recoil. And for the final evolution, you want to go for more crit chance. So here we have a general build. We have nothing special here apart from the Gilded Truth mod. This is a Burston specific mod that gives us fire rate, and once you shoot enough you will do AoE gas damage and most importantly get a really nice parkour velocity boost for 30 seconds. Hunter Munitions is here since we can't really get Slash with the Incarnon form of the weapon. So we have Viral Slash and Heat. If you would like to see only red crits, all you have to do is switch Serration for Galvanized Scope. And of course, since we are aiming to hit heads, you will want to switch Merciless to Deadhead. And for the level cap disruption build, we have this. A faction mod, of course. We switched Galvanized Chamber for Split Chamber, since this is a weapon only for Demolists. We switched Vital Sense for Hammer Shot, getting us almost to 100% status chance, and we use Primary Blight. With the combination of Zariman, we will get free multi-shot and crit damage. And because we already have Viral on our weapon, we don't need to run Nourish anymore, so we just run Roar instead. And lastly, to nobody's surprise, on the number 1 spot we have Torid. Not only the best Incarnon, but arguably the best weapon in the entire game. You don't even have to aim head with this one, as long as you hit an enemy, it will charge. Once you charge it, it turns into something similar to boar, but much better. Auto-aiming laser that turns everything to dust. When you wield this gun, you will feel like Thanos himself. The evolutions: Final Fusillade giving us base damage, plus makes it easier to charge in non-Incarnon form with extra multi-shot. Swift Deliverance giving us extra projectile speed. And lastly, this time we want to go for the hybrid option, giving us both crit chance and status chance. You can go for the pure crit, but honestly, since the element changes, I think that the hybrid one just slightly outperforms the true crit. The first build, we have your typical Viral Slash build. I know there was some bug with Galvanized Aptitude not working properly on Torid, but I'm gonna trust this time and hope that it got fixed, or will be fixed in the near future. Since Torid has innate toxin, all you need is a cold 60/60 mod, and with Hunter Munition you will have Viral and Slash. To top it all off, we use Viral Acceleration for more fire rate, making it easier to charge and do much more damage. And the second build, we have something a little more interesting. Corrosive plus Blast. And with the power of Rifle Elementalist, we almost double our damage. Again, remember, because of the innate toxin, it can be a bit confusing. But all you have to do is put heat, cold and electricity in that order from top left to bottom right. that's gonna be all, friends. I hope you enjoyed and found these builds useful. If you did, be sure to let me know by dropping a like, comment and/or subscribe. I will catch you in the next one.